Did you know that incorrect customs declarations can cost business billions of dollars every year in fines or delays? Could your business be at risk? My name is Gigi Miller and I'm your global trade expert. In this video, I would like to talk about the hidden risk in customs compliance today. So I'm happy that you're here, that we're talking about customs compliance. So first of all, what is customs compliance? So to define it, I would say that customs compliance means that ensuring that your shipment meet the law and regulations of the countries you're trading in. Really easy, right? So what does it mean? It actually means that non-compliance, if you're non-compliant, that can lead to really high penalties and seized goods and also damage your credibility in the market as well. So that can happen if you're not compliant with the laws and regulation of that country, for example. So we want to continue, or I want to continue with the top risk in customs compliance. So the first one, or risk number one, is actually incorrect HS code. HS code, HS stands for harmonized code. It's actually just a barcode for customs. So every product that you are holding in your hands that is coming from China, from USA, from somewhere in the EU, they have, before they cross the border, before they are sending out, they have to be classified first, which an HS code. That means they have a code, and behind that code there's a tariff duty that you have to pay in percentage. So a wrong code, for example, can result in incorrect duties and also delays or fines even. For example, let's say you are a cosmetic company and once you, for example, misclassified a skincare product and you say that it's a pharmaceutical product, that means you're doubling the tariff overnight. That means you're paying, instead of 3% of that value, you're paying now 6% of that value for the duties, right? So that is the importance. Here I want to show the importance of the HS code, the harmonized code of every product. And that can also be checked. There's a website where you can find your right HS code. So risk number two actually is the missing or incorrect documentation. I face that every day. So for example, we have, let's say, samples from China, right? Really easy. But the challenge here is that many Chinese firms, they give a really bad description of the product, which can lead to, yes, to misunderstandings, or the customs don't know what is meant by. Now they want to open the box, or they saying that the invoices are incorrect, so they want to have a new invoice, pro forma invoice, and that leads to high cost and also delays. And if it's misclassified, for example, that can also means that now you have a problem with the customs because they want to know the right tariff. So missing and incorrectness of the documentation is really, really bad, and it's a big challenge for every importer here. So if they're sending out, maybe it's easy to make an export declaration, but here in the EU, if we import something and buy something from China, from USA, we have to, as an importer, we have to know what we have ordered and have to make sure that the exporter in a third country, for example, are issuing the right documents and make sure that they go through the checklist, for example. So this is risk number 2. Risk number 3 is failure to follow the import and export restrictions. So certain countries, they have specific ingredients and specific restrictions on ingredients or products, for example, right? For example, in cosmetics or in the cosmetic industry, we have chemicals that are banned in the EU. So you're not allowed to import these products or these sort of yeah, sort of chemicals. So before you order something or you send something out, you have to research the market specific regulations before shipping. And there are several websites that you can use to check that before you send it out. Risk number 4, misunderstanding the free trade agreements. What is the free trade agreements? It's actually if you make use of it, you can reduce your tariff. So from 6% to 0% of tariff. That means the free trade agreement is available on a specific website where you can check if there is some sort of a agreement with two countries. They have agreed on something that for these kind of products, they have zero tariffs on that, 0% tariff on that. And to make sure that a business can make use of it or benefit from the FTA, you have to make sure that documents are right, the HS code is right, and have to check that these two countries have an agreement with each other. Yes, and sometimes you also have to prove that the product is locally sourced. For example, if things are sourced from the EU or in the EU, and if a third country that you want to export to, want to send your product to, have an agreement with the EU, you can make sure that your customer in a third country can make use or benefit from the FTA. Risk number 5, overlooking customs valuation risk. So, for example, if you have incorrect valuation, that means you're over declaring or under declaring the value of goods. That can lead to heavy penalties. And those are the things that you want to avoid. And here is how to avoid these risks. So tip number 1 is work with experts. So if you don't have an expert in your house, an in-house expert, make sure that you have a consultant, a customs consultant or a broker that can guide you through these processes and can flag the issues before it happens or before they happen. Tip number 2 is using the technology. For example, AI technology. There are trade management software now with AI that can help you to automate the HS classification, for example, and make sure that you ensure the compliance with the country specific rules. That is tip number 2. And tip number 3 is regularly audit the process. What do I mean by this? I mean, regularly check your processes, conduct a regular compliance audits to catch the mistakes very early. And prevention is always cheaper than the cure, I can tell. So tip number 4 is to stay updated on regulations. So trade laws and regulations, they're changing very fast and very often. So I can recommend to go on LinkedIn, for example. There are so many free content on this, from customs broker to whatever agencies. They are giving out their content for free and they are updating you with professional information, and also you can join the network, a professional network, to stay informed. These are the tips for me that I can give to you. I don't know, maybe you have a business, you want to export something, you want to import something from China or from USA and want to sell it. And these are the things that you need to consider and you need to know and educate yourself. So, are you confident now with your customs processes? Is that you are 100% compliant? If not, now the time is to act. Now it's the time to act. And drop a comment with your biggest compliance challenge, and I'll address that in a future video. So don't forget to subscribe. Tomorrow I'll show you how to save money by understanding trade tariffs and duties. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.